Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Where we were reacting to the comments of Austin Rivers, right? Where essentially Austin Rivers was reacting to one of the biggest stories in the week, which was just the drama surrounding Rich Paul, Max Kellerman, and their podcast, but specifically the news of Rich Paul being approached by Austin Reeves' agent, right? So we had spoken about that extensively. Many other shows spoke about it, bigger shows than us, they spoke about it as well. And I think almost everyone understands where we stand on that particular story, even Shannon Sharp, to the surprise of many. Seemed to scold Rich Paul for just his blatant unprofessionalism. So we all spoke about it. But then last night, Austin Reeves decided to jump into the frame. We found out about it through a Yahoo Sports post where he essentially was saying what I think more players need to say and more people in the NBA community need to say, which is, what the bloody hell are you doing, man? Like, what the bloody hell are you doing? So for those of you who maybe didn't catch that live or don't know what I'm talking about, we want to play what Austin Rivers had to say for you now, and then we'll come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to his comments here.
Combo though too, because obviously that's just
he's got to
podcaster.
He's got to stop. He's got to stop that. If you're gonna, first off, why do you have a podcast anyway? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I got nothing against Rich. I don't understand why you have a podcast, bro.
Well, his argument would be that players have podcasts.
You're not
playing
a
in
player.
Yeah.
I don't know any other agents who are sitting there on the mic talking. Plus, everything you say is going to be a representation of LeBron, even if he don't feel the way. Now you got LeBron having to come out and be like, hey, Rich Paul has his own opinion. I don't know. I don't affiliate with that. Just because he's saying they want to get off Reeves, that doesn't mean I want to get off Reeves. That shouldn't even have to be a conversation. It's weird. Bro, why do you have a podcast, Rich? You are an agent, meaning you're supposed to be in the background running all the other stuff. You coming out at the forefront and giving your opinions on the game and like saying this stuff, it doesn't work. Are there any other sports agents that have big podcasts right now?
No.
In the NBA? Zero.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And you know why people know you, Rich. Listen, I got nothing but respect for Rich. You've worked your ass off and done a good job building your own network, your own business. You've done great. You and Maverick have done a fantastic job. It's one of the stories of all time when we talk about an athlete putting on his friends and his friends doing a great job to give it back to the guy that helped them, build a brand around them. They've done a great job. Rich Paul's a legend for that. That's your lane. And you've done that and you've earned that. He's obviously, I think he's engaged or dating Adele, one of the two. Everything's flowing for you, bro. You got everything. You're cool. You shouldn't have a podcast about basketball. Shouldn't happen. It's a conflict of interest, for one. Just because your main client, the client that built this with you, plays for the Lakers. So you talking about Lakers roster and who they need to trade as an agent is wild.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you heard what his comments had to say. What he had to say in his comments. Look, I thought he was pretty much spot on, right? And I think a lot of people would concur with him, but not everybody. Former NBA player Eddie Johnson decided to push back on the comments from Austin Rivers and was just like, no, I have a different take on things. Notice how Austin did not keep going. Why not also say current NBA players should not have podcasts? Players running to a studio after games and off days talking about current peers is just as bad. You think teams want their players focused on a script instead of a playbook? Okay, so you heard what he had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? Look, I agree with him as well. And that conversation has already been had, which is, should current players have a podcast? Current, like active players, rather, and have a podcast? I'm against it. Right? I'm against it. I just feel like it shows a lack of focus. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to the rule. I think a person you can make an exception for, and I think he's the only one, is LeBron James, because LeBron has been able to exhibit a laser focus on his work that most of these other guys have not been able to. The Paul Georges, the Draymond Greens, and the majority of the other guys. So I'll give LeBron a pass on that, just because he seems like someone that has been able to exhibit that he is someone that has exhibited an extreme level of focus on his work, and it hasn't affected his game. You can't say the same for other people. At one point, there were more Paul George podcast episodes than games played at a certain point. So I would agree with him. But I just think there is this itch to talk and, be a part of the conversation, even if you're not saying anything sensible. It's just like, okay, I want to talk to. I want to have something to say. So I'm against current players, active players having podcasts. In terms of what he said about in response to Rich Paul, look, Rich Paul, Rich Paul is doing what he's going to do, and I don't think that he's going to stop. I think what Rich and these guys have figured out is a formula to success, right? And there are many different ways, to skin a cat. Look, some people, how they make it in this space based off of my observation, are just by giving common sense takes. You have other people that build strong audiences by having strong views like ourselves here. We're not LeBron guys or anything like that. Then you have guys that figured out a way to rage bait, right? And just essentially be, they're always in opposition of the sensible thing to say. So if most people are going to think, hey, this is the correct answer to this thing, they take the opposite position, which kind of has a little bit of rage bait in it as well, right? I know people like that, family members that are they're always ready to take the other side of an argument just for the simple fact of just because they want to be a contrarian. You have that as well. In the case of Rich Paul, he's figured out that, look, given the fact that I'm a current age and I represent LeBron James, it already creates a conflict of interest. And when I talk about various things, is all automatically going to get people talking. He may not be saying obtuse things, but the fact that these comments are coming from him, being who he is, that creates the controversy, that creates the conversation, and that's what works, right? That is what's working. The most notable things from his show have been the things related to Michael Jordan, the Lakers, and all of that other stuff. So that's their formula to success. Bill Simmons from The Ringer, who's spearheading this project, said that he didn't really he didn't really see this thing turning into what it is, and he's happy for the fact that this podcast is causing so much drama and chaos for the Lakers. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. Y'all know that we're not fans of Malika Andrews on this channel over here. We're just not, right? We think she's annoying. And we have a right to think that. You ain't got to like everybody. You know what I mean? You ain't got to like everybody. You don't have to. You don't have to like everybody. Nah, we not rocking with her since that situation that went down with the Emil Udoka some years ago. That's when we were just like, nah, and then various situations after that. But anyway, recently, ESPN absolutely embarrassed themselves by doing a segment. And I believe Iman Shumpert was there. He's one of the new acquisitions to join the network, where they were talking about LeBron's daily routine, man. And he was like, wow, man, this guy drinks water. He sleeps. Wow. Does he use a hyperbolic chamber? He eats carrots. What kind of carrots does he eat? Chicken. But like, it was just like, don't you people have anything else better to talk about? So they did all of that. They were fawning over him. And ESPN, by and large, is the LeBron James network. And one of his biggest supporters is Malika Andrews. And there have been times in the past where people try to bring up Kobe Bryant and she'll get pissed off and cut him off. Like when Matt Barnes tried to bring it up in Malika Andrews, let me come out here and that's Malika Andrews, right? So anyway, I was listening to a segment where it was actually supposed to be focused on what Kendrick Perkins was talking about for some research that we did for a different video that we published today. And as they were talking about it, okay, they're not saying who was on the panel here, but anyway, as they were talking about it, towards the tail end of what Kendrick Perkins was talking about in terms of team chemistry and all of that, a gentleman, and I can't remember his name. You all know him. I just can't remember his name. He decided to chime in after Kendrick Perkins, and he began to talk about the Lakers' record prior to LeBron getting there and their record with him. The minute he went into that, Malika Andrews cut him off immediately. And I don't know if we can show her face while she was looking at him as she cut him off. I don't know if we can do that. It'll probably help a little bit more. I don't know. But I was like, here she goes again, man. She just can't help herself when it comes to cutting off people. So what we want to do is we want to play for you now. And then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to this here.
Not on the same page, then they definitely don't have the chemistry off the floor.
I think certainly the beginning of the year, how this roster played without LeBron and where they were. I think 19-7 to start the season, 5-8 since. They haven't had a good win against a team above 500 since December 14th. But I will say this real quick.
Go ahead.
I think the Western Conference standings will keep them in it. Where they are in the top 7, like, I don't see them sliding out and still figure themselves out. They're not Oklahoma City, and they got things to work on here. And as Brian said, the next 9 games on the road is going to dictate a lot of things here. But I am probably not as down on them as probably maybe most people.
Well, and also they don't have Austin Reeves, and I don't know that solves all of their defensive problems that they're having here, but I do want to see a sample size with Austin back, and we're not going to see him at least until the end of the month, right?
Excellent. So you heard what she had. You heard the exchange here. What are my thoughts about this? Typical, man. Typical stuff that goes down at ESPN. It's like, don't you dare bring that up. Why don't they do a segment on that and ask the real questions? Wait a minute, guys. This team was looking a particular way before this guy got here. They had a totally different vibe about them. What changed? We're not going to do that, man. We're just going to be up here twerking it up and pouring honey all over the desk, man. That, I mean, you want us to state the obvious? You must be kidding. We rather talk about Jake LaRavia, or we rather talk about Austin Reeves, who's injured. You expect us to give you guys some serious analysis? Like some serious analysis? Man, y'all better forget that. Y'all better forget that. We're not doing none of that. Y'all better forget that. ESPN is not a serious network, man. It's not like when you have things like this happen, and the guy is talking about the Lakers record, and she's like, well, you gotta understand. Like, no. Let the guy finish his bloody point. This is why it's always like news when you have, for example, like a Kobe guy on ESPN just break through the noise, like just find a way to break through all of the honey and give a Kobe take. Like when PK Subban would make a comment and it would go viral, or Michael Wilbon was like, it was like, oh my God, did you hear? Because the twerkation at that station is out of control. They twerk for a living over there. They twerk for a living at that network. So the minute you get like an alternative viewpoint, like, well, we got to stop them. We got to stop them. That's what's going on there. But the fact of the matter is, this team looked better without LeBron. I mean, these are the facts. And if you look at it statistically, this is a fact. Go look at their numbers. You look at their defensive rating. Look at their opponent's points scored per game. Go look at all of it. What do those numbers indicate? And now, this season has essentially been distilled down to, for LeBron fans, his stats. Again, the most superficial fan base in the history of basketball. All they care about is stat. They don't care about winning, losing. None of it matters. If you win, it's just, well, that's just icing on the cake. But what we care about primarily is stats. This is the reason why every single night LeBron scores 25, they post it and beat they meat all over the internet, because that's their night. Did the Lakers win? Did the Lakers lose? They don't even care about it. And that's like an app win, lose. You think we in this for wins? You think we in this for W's? No, we not, bro. We in this to get these stats, baby. So at the end of the season, if they have another lackluster season, LeBron fans can sit down and say to themselves, well, he averaged X, Y, and Z. This is their whole existence. Stats. This is their whole entire existence. Statistics. That's all. That's all. Nothing more, nothing. That's it. Right? The most superficial fan base in the NBA. They don't even like basketball. All they like is LeBron James. You ask a LeBron fan, who's your favorite player outside of LeBron? You know what they're going to say? Bronny James. What players you think is going to be good in the future? Bryce James. That's it. They don't like nobody else. They don't like nobody else. Nobody. These are not basketball fans, man. It's like, they're not. But Malika Andrews cutting off the guys, like, God forbid he gets out his point, man. Damn. Like, God forbid he's able to give his opinion without being interrupted again. We're talking the Lakers again, right? By far the most interesting team in the NBA to talk about. And this time, Kendrick Perkins is weighing in on the Lakers. As you guys know, look, the Lakers are in total disarray. They're 500 ball club over their last 10 games. I think 8 to 9 of the next 10 games that they're going to be playing are going to be on the road. They have some pretty good competition that they're going to be facing immediately. They're going to be playing the Portland Trail Blazers, who I believe are dangerous. Then they're going to be playing the Raptors, who are a playoff team. Then they have the the Nuggets, the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to be extremely formidable, given the fact that the Clippers are 12-2 over their last 14 games. So they've been playing very, very well. And they've won, the Clippers I'm talking about, 5 games in a row. And now they're in the play-in picture. All right, they're in the play-in picture. So the Clippers have really, really picked up things there. And I'm watching them closely. And then after that, they're going to be playing against the Mavericks, Bulls, Cavaliers, Knicks, and all of that. So the Lakers have some pretty stout competition coming up. And they need to correct course because they haven't been looking as good as they were in the beginning of the season. And one of the reasons Kendrick Perkins believes that this is the case is because the team has no leadership and chemistry. And he was on ESPN where he essentially said that, look, these guys are not a team. They're just a bunch of individuals. And I was like, you don't say. So let's take a listen to what Kendrick Perkins had to say here. Then I'm going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Kendrick Perkins.
The Lakers are 9 games above 500, but they've lost 4 of 5. Brian, you had a pretty harsh critique of them earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if they played the Hornets in a playoff series, I think the Lakers have a hard time beating them. And it's not a commentary on anything other than the Hornets are a young athletic team. And when the Lakers play a young athletic team, they struggle. And the Hornets know they come into the game trying to play high tempo. And, yeah, you're going to have games where you're going to have variance on whether your threes drop. But over the course of a series, you're going to have a hard time. And, like, it's very hard for me to take a team seriously that's bottom 5 in defense. In as much as the Lakers got going for them, they're bottom 5 in defense. And, guys, look at the schedule. Like, I know they've been a very good road team this year, and I applaud them for it. But I'm not sure they can keep up if they keep defending like this. They play 9 of the next 10 on the road. So this is just going to be very difficult for them to maintain this spot in the standings if they continue to defend like this.
Did you just have the audacity to call the Lakers a team? That's not a team.
Ouch.
That's a bunch of individuals. I'm willing to bet everything that I have that is not a group chat with the Lakers.
Careful what
It's got to be a group chat.
Well, if it is,
may not be that active, but
what it is, ain't nobody saying nothing. I'm willing to bet there's no team dinners on the road. That's a bunch of individuals. That's showing up to work, do your job, everybody go their own way. And that's how they perform on the floor. That's when you have defensive teams that are with defensive individuals that look the way that they look, not on the same page, then they definitely don't have the chemistry off the floor.
Excellent. So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Look, it's clear to see, and I've been saying this and a lot of people have been saying this, the chemistry that these guys were able to establish at the beginning of the season, it's not there anymore. The camaraderie, the fun that they used to have as a team, that we're calling them the Beach Boy. Luka seemed to be gelling with his guys very, very well. That's all gone, right? It's all gone. It's all gone because Mr. LBJ walked into the room with his media members and his fans, and the toxicity is now just permeating through the building. You've even had some NBA players say, look, this guy doesn't like Luka Doncic. This is what some NBA players have said. Some NBA players have said, he don't like Luka. Luka will get into a scuffle. LeBron won't be there. Luka will fall down. He won't even pick him up. Like, what's going on here? Some of them will be like, Luka just went to the ground. You're not even helping him up. So there are people that feel that, right? That LeBron is dejected with the situation that he's in, that he no longer wants to be there, all because the team didn't offer him a contract extension. And when you have that going on, obviously there's not going to be any camaraderie there. Then you have the goofball on a team like, what's his name? DeAndre Ayton. You know, you have that situation there. It just seems like everybody has different agendas. And personally, I just feel like these guys are just waiting out LeBron James, man. I think Luka Doncic is being diplomatic about it. He's not going to come out and clash with him the way Kobe Bryant would have clashed with a Shaq. And because Luka's probably looking at it from the standpoint of, look, this is not worth it. This guy's going to be out of here in a few months. So why would I ruffle any feathers? There's no need for it. Now, If you have a situation in which somehow, some way, the Lakers find a way to keep LeBron next year, it's done. It's done. And when I said this season was over with about a month or so ago, some people thought that, oh, man, this is just, you're just taking it too far, man. You don't like LeBron James. I'm like, okay, now look. It's clear to see, guys. Forget about the defense and all of that stuff. It's clear to see that this is a different team. And you can't blame it on, Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves isn't even there. He's not even there. And if I'm Austin Reeves' agent, don't come back this season. What is he coming back for? This team isn't going to be any good, number one. Number two, when you come back, all that's going to happen is playing with these guys are going to hurt your numbers. So just stay away. Let them figure it out, right? They were talking about, trade Austin Reeves, trade Austin Reeves, trade Austin Reeves, blah, 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 blah. We were looking at the record that the Lakers had with him minus LeBron. Okay, fine. You have Luka and LeBron. Let's see if they can do better. And the answer is they can't. They can't. So why would Austin Reeves even want to be a part of that? Why would he want to be a part of that knowing that the media and LeBron guys are targeting him? So I would just stay away. I don't know if his agent is seeing this, but that's my recommendation to you. Sit Austin for the rest of the season, bro. You got nothing to gain and everything to lose. That's my recommendation. And let these guys figure it out. Let them figure it out. Right? Because to me, man, I don't see how Austin benefits from this, but I don't believe that there's any camaraderie. How can there be camaraderie when you have one guy's agent talking about a player on the team in trade scenarios? What chemistry do you think we're going to have? What chemistry? You got one guy's agent talking about the Lakers are not doing this right. The Lakers, where's the chemistry? Where's the chemistry coming from? Of course there's not going to be any chemistry. Right? So Kendrick Perkins here is pointing out the obvious. Of course there isn't going to be any bloody chemistry. Why would you expect there to be? Why would you expect there to be?